I got stuff for you.
Holy moly. I need to get some snakes and release them around my house.
But they love eating people. They love eating kids.
These guys are the scientists of the supernatural, lecturers leaving lessons for inquiring laymen. They are applying the scientific method to a world that baffles science. They are the cryptids of the corn.
Every day that you open your mouth,
I know, right?
I'm more convinced that you're abducted by aliens.
No.
And it just stood up. I mean, it just like kept going and going. And she goes, what the?
These are idiots.
I was laughing reading this because I already knew how you would feel.
Idiot. What part of the story fits your balloon?
Well,
This isn't a UFO. But who else has big black wings and red eyes?
Batman.
Oh, Mothman.
Oh, yeah, Mothman.
Well, everyone, I think we know exactly what it is. So say it all with me. It was the Sandhill crane.
Would you try it?
No.
You wouldn't eat it?
No.
Why?
Because they're probably toxic. There'd be a lot of poop in my pants. I've seen a 6-foot alligator go swinging through the air and slam into a tree. Hello, and welcome back to Cryptids of the Corn podcast. I am the great and spooky Mystery.
And I'm J Clone 410. And is this like a scary episode?
It is.
Is it? Oh, gosh.
Because you don't know anything.
No, I don't. I mean, but you're making it spooky.
I've talked about this for a while, and I keep forgetting to do it as an episode, but it's nice out, right? So, I have a mirage, a ballot, a ton of campfire stories
Okay.
and what they mean to Americans and folklore.
Oh, okay. So, like, these mold the human psyche?
Yeah, we're getting into. I have a whole bunch of campfire stories. The ones I could dig up more details on, I did. Some of them are just campfire stories that don't have a lot on, but they're super popular. So what I kind of was thinking, most of these are stories that you can share with your kids. Like, you guys are getting ready to go out camping, kids, young people listening. If you got kids or grandkids or whatever, I just love a spooky tale around a campfire.
Oh, that's great.
My brother always hated it.
Why?
So when we were in Michigan like 4 or 5 years ago, I was doing the Black-Eyed Kids stuff. And
Well, no wonder why he hated it.
yeah.
You're talking about
We're
Black-Eyed Kids.
We're literally having a fire where I seen a mountain lion like 2 months before.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd rather
you're scared
see
of that, but there's a mountain lion that sits in that bush.
Yeah, I'd rather see a mountain lion than
Oh,
Black.
I would too.
Exactly.
I was scared of the mountain lion, but not as much as I would be if I seen a kid with shark black eyes.
Yeah.
No, so I picked some really famous ones. Just got a little myriad of them. Just to go ahead and go over and just, so these are stories that you can take and retell in your own fashion around the campfire this summer.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the whole point of this episode. Did you guys ever have any that you would tell a lot?
We didn't do a whole lot of camping, to be honest.
Oh, we camped like every weekend growing up.
Yeah, we did not.
Because we were poor.
Yeah.
And it's a great, I don't know if it's not nearly as cheap as it was then.
Mm-hmm.
But, $30 a night,
Yeah.
hot dogs and lunch meat.
Oh, yeah.
My mom and dad, we had a great childhood with that stuff.
Yeah.
We'd go to Mohican or Hocking.
Which is awesome.
But as I was a little kid, I felt like we were going to Florida
Right, yeah.
when we were going down to Hocking or Mohican.
Yeah.
Even though it's 3 hours, 2 hours, depending on where you're going.
But when you're a kid, that's a long ways
We
away.
had so much fun. The raccoon invasion in Hocking Hills Park was horrible, though.
Oh,
We got in our tent constantly while we were in it.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I would hate that.
And we looked down one time, and there was just a raccoon sitting there.
Did it freak out?
No, they were very cocky.
Mm.
He was mad that we were in the tent.
Okay. So, like, what did you guys do?
Dad took care of it.
Oh. With?
Just the raccoon. That particular raccoon never came back that night.
Ah, okay.
Others did. And then they would sit above the tent and the trees and throw nuts and stuff out the tent all night. And Dad went and slept in the van.
What? He was annoyed?
Yeah, because you don't understand. It was like pelting the tent with stuff.
That's kind of funny.
He didn't find it funny because we didn't have any food.
Oh, gosh. Oh, no. Oh, I can only imagine what was going through his head.
We had to get zip ties and actually zip tie the tent shut when we leave.
Yeah.
Because the one time we went just to walk in the park.
Yeah.
Like that, it's there. 20 minutes later, all of our food was spread out through the whole ground.
Yeah, because they got into
They're out there still eating it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, you didn't have any growing up? Any campfire stories?
Not really. I mean, we did. Like I said, we didn't do a whole lot of camping. We go camping like once a summer, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And we go up to like Lake Erie, the campgrounds or something.
Yeah.
That's not the same.
No, but your family, that was your family's place. I mean, they still go and do it.
Yeah, that now they got a spot up at the camp or at the lake.
Yeah.
Next to Gene.
Yeah. Hi, Gene. I
Yeah,
don't know if
Gene.
you'll ever listen to this.
Sponsor of the Ohio Bigfoot Jamboree,
He
too.
is, and we love him.
Yep. this
So
year-
is Broadcasting Seeds and Jessica with Broken Branch Design,
That's
and
right.
a new announcement that's not ready yet.
Ooh. Oh, we're not allowed to announce it yet?
No, just because I don't think she's hammered down the name.
Oh, gotcha. Jess's
thing.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. I thought you meant new sponsor.
No, so you want to sponsor, reach out. The link's below.
Yeah, absolutely. Always looking for more sponsors. Ohio Bigfoot Jamboree 2, October 4th in our hometown, Ada, Ohio.
Check out Broadcasting Seeds podcast.
Absolutely.
I was a guest. I know Jay's going to be a guest soon. Super nice guy. Obviously, sponsored the event, without even asking. He just was like, I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
So super nice. So yeah, Grandpa would always tell us like the hook-handed man kind of stuff,
Ooh, okay.
which we'll talk about in a little bit.
The hash slinging slasher.
Yeah, the hash slinging slasher.
Yeah.
And that was before we moved out to the haunted house. Because once we moved into a haunted house, nobody really wanted to tell spooky stories anymore.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I don't know why.
I wonder why.
And then let's see, Crybaby Bridges. They'd always tell us about that. The Bowling Green Haunted Bridge. Grandpa and Dad would tell us some version of that kind of deal.
Yeah.
So those were kind of the ones that would come up a lot.
The reoccurring ones.
The
hits. Those are the hits.
And my great grandma would tell us about what's called Old McGuffey.
Oh, okay.
With the plantation.
I'm sure it was crazy.
Oh yeah, it's not a good place.
I mean, it ain't now.
It still isn't a good place.
No, but for different reasons.
Old McGuffey, not McGuffey the town.
Oh, what's Old McGuffey?
That's where the plantation was, out in the fields.
Oh, okay. But it was around that same area?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair.
It's called Old McGuffey.
Yeah.
All right.
Local history.
The first one we're going to really get into, and I found a lot of information on this one, is the Wolf Girl of Devil's River.
Wow.
This is a Texas-based scary campfire story that dates back to the mid-1800s.
Now, is this actually like a wolf girl hybrid or like a girl that identifies as a wolf?
We'll find out, won't we?
I guess we will. All right.
The story of the Wolf Girl is centered around a notoriously haunted Esperita Lake. I think it's Esperita.
Okay.
Often avoided by travelers who fear of the ghostly fog that covers the lake each night. In 1845, a young boy reported seeing an unclothed girl devouring a goat alongside with a pack of wolves.
Oh, gosh.
The girl was later captured by cowboys who tried to lock her in a shack. But she escaped in the middle of the night, and the wolf girl was never caught again.
Huh. So she identifies as a wolf.
Yeah, this was a girl that would literally run with a pack of wolves.
Yeah.
Now, with campfire stories, I have more history for this one. But with campfire stories, the versions of this, she was either abandoned and adopted by a pack of wolves kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
There is also a big string of this. This is still told around campfires in Texas today. There's a big string of this where she was a werewolf or, where she was been bitten by something.
Yeah.
And, was leading a pack. So do you remember some of the original Dogman in Michigan? Remember that a lot of the ferry operators and stuff, what would they see? They would see this giant dog humanoid running with a pack of normal wolves. So you get some of that feel with this too.
Yeah, kind of.
So it's very interesting. The goat, there's everybody has an uncle that's seen the Wolf Girl of Devil's River.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
But you want to get into some of the history of it?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And I don't have a lot of history for a lot of these. This is just one that there was.
Oh, yeah, they're campfire tales.
Yeah, but I thought it was neat. In 1835, a group of American colonists, led by Dr. Charles Bale, were camped near Lake Esperita, a renowned haunted location near what's now the Carzo Springs in southwest Texas. Half a mile away from the Bales group, John Dent and his pregnant wife, Molly Dent, both from Georgia, had built a bush cabin. They had come to trap beaver in the Devil's River area, north of the present-day Del Rio, but also on the run from the law for the murder of a fellow trapper in Georgia.
Okay.
So these are fur trappers, the Dents. They murdered a guy in Georgia, so they're moving out to Texas to keep trapping fur and get away from
Fair.
the murder.
Fair.
The Dents were to prove fortunate in their choice of site, distant from the lake. A band of Comanches raided the main Bale camp and massacred most of its inhabitants, afterwards throwing the bodies of the victims and their crates into the lake.
Ooh, because Comanche were pretty ruthless, right?
Yeah, they weren't happy about everybody taking their lands.
Exactly, yeah.
No, I don't know why.
No, yeah, weird, huh?
Don't know
Weird,
why.
odd behavior, right?
Gosh, if anybody can't tell, that's sarcasm.
Yeah, extremely.
We know why they weren't happy.
Right. We're just letting you fill in the dots.
So yeah, they got lucky because they camped away from the main Bales group. You know, they moved further away, so the Comanches didn't even know they were there.
Mm.
So the Dents survived this whole thing unscathed.
Wow, how fortunate
Yeah.
for murderers.
So the haunted location, even in the Esperita Lake, has a quieter reputation of ghostly going on. It's the incident adding to the store of ill luck and sorrow centered around it. To the day, the Mexicans in the area consider the location haunted. The name Esperita means, or roughly translate to frightful or fearful.
Hmm.
So the lake literally means like frightful lake.
Okay. Not a good place to probably be.
Yeah. So first, one of the first documented things we could find is this group of Comanches killing a whole wagon of people, men, women, children, and throwing their bodies into the lake.
That's a good way to get a lake haunted real fast.
Yeah. Yeah. So as Molly, which was the Molly Dent,
Molly Dent, yep.
was approaching the end of her pregnancy, the couple were reluctant to travel despite the dangers of very hostile Native Americans in the area. One night in May 4th to be exact,
Wow.
in 1835, there were severe thunderstorms and Molly went into labor. She appeared to be having problems with the birth, so Dent decided to ride westward for help. So he just leaves his wife there, go find help, which, I mean, you don't got a lot of choices.
Right.
He arrives at a Mexican goat ranch in the Pacos Canyon and told them he desperately needed help with his wife's condition, begging for someone to ride back with him and help. But as the Mexicans prepared their horses to leave, there was an extremely furious crash of thunder and a bolt of lightning struck Dent from his horse, killing him instantly.
Wow.
So the Mexican family was like, "Yeah, we'll go out and help you. Let's saddle up and let's go." As they're getting ready to leave, Dent pretty much explodes.
Imagine seeing that.
Well, the Mexicans, they don't know where his wife is.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So now they know there's a woman out there in trouble that they have no idea where she is.
Where she even is.
Okay. So after a considerable delay, the goat herders mounted up and followed Dent's, rough directions where he
Right.
kind of said he was camping. However, darkness fell before they had gotten to the divide in the Devil's River, thus delaying the search even further. Finally, at sunrise the next morning, they located Dent's isolated cabin. But what they found outside the cabin, in an open brush, was Molly Dent laying there dead, alone.
Man.
She apparently died in childbirth, but there was no trace of the baby anywhere.
Oh, no.
The child was never found, but fang marks on the woman's body and numerous wolf-like tracks were all over the area, which made the goat herders naturally assume the infant had either been devoured or carried off by the Lobo wolves.
Ooh, okay. I finally see where this is going. So this is the origin stories, perhaps, of the wolf girl.
Yes.
Ah, so the missing Dent child.
Yes.
Wow, or daughter of murderers.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. That'd be a cool origin story. I mean,
Dad exploded from lightning.
and mom got.
died in childbirth.
I guess that's not.
I think
great,
I think that's like Luke Skywalker's origin story.
something like that. Yeah.
Leia died in or not Leia. Their mom, Padme, died in childbirth.
Wait, are you saying that on purpose or no?
What?
Did you go to Star Wars on purpose?
What do you mean?
This happened on May the 4th.
Oh, yeah. I went to May 4th because of something else.
I know, but you brought up Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Maybe Star Wars ripped it from the Wolf Girl.
There you go.
It's all just a fancy.
Add that when you guys are retelling this for your campfires, for
Yeah.
your kids and grandkids. Add that.
Right. This is the origin stories of Star Wars.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
In a riverbed far, far away in Texas.
800 miles away in Texas.
Yeah.
All right.
George Lucas, rip-off artist.
the first sighting of the wolf girl. So that was the beginning of the story. 10 years later, in 1845, a boy living in Santa Felipe Springs, which is Del Rio today, reportedly saw a creature with extremely long hair covering most of its features. It roughly looked like a naked girl. It was attacking a herd of goats in the company of a pack of Lobo wolves. The story was ridiculed by many, but still managed to spread back along the settlements. Around a year after the original incident, a Mexican woman in San Felipe claimed to see 2 large wolves and an unclothed young girl devouring a freshly killed goat. Which, if anybody isn't familiar, especially in this time, goat farming in Texas was extremely popular.
Okay.
That's why there's a lot of goats, if anybody was curious, because that part of Texas did not have a lot of good grazing ground for cattle, and goats are a lot more adaptable.
Okay.
She approached close to the group. She said, before she saw her run off, usually it was very dangerous for humans to eat raw meat. Since the wolf girl had never had a chance to learn how to cook a ham or other meats, her body must become accustomed to digesting uncooked meats just like a wolf. The woman noticed that the girl ran initially on all 4s, but then rose and ran on 2 feet, keeping close to the wolves. The woman was in no doubt that what she had seen was scattering of people in Devil's River continued to keep their sheep and sharp lookout for the wolf girl. There was also similar reports in other regions during the following years. Apache stories of child footprints, sometimes accompanied by handprints, were found alongside large wolf tracks. So they were literally finding the kid's hand and footprints.
Crawling, basically.
With wolf prints.
Yeah.
A hunt was organized to capture the Lobo wolves, a.k.a. it's just a word for gray wolves.
Or modified dire wolves.
Yeah, modified. It's their wolf. They're local, like, they're just a dialect for their wolf.
Gotcha.
So they were calling her the Lobo girl, which is wolf girl.
Right.
Of Devil's River, as she has now become known, considering many Mexicans were looking to capture her. On the 3rd day of the hunt, the naked girl was sighted near Esperita Lake, running with a pack of wolves. A cowboy managed to separate the girl from her wolf companions and cornered her in a canyon, where she fought like a wild cat, clawing and biting fiercest as she was trying to keep her freedom. He finally managed to lasso her and keep her still. But while she was out there tying her up, she began to make frightening, unearthly sounds, somewhere between the screams of a woman and the howl of a wolf. As she howled, the monster he-wolf, from whom she'd become separated, appeared and rushed her captors.
Wow.
Fortunately, one of the cowboys reacted quick enough and shot it dead instantly.
Oh, no.
At which the wolf girl fell into a fright and fainted.
Dang, okay.
Securely bound, the men were now able to examine the girl and noted despite the body covered in hair and her wild mannerisms, she appeared to be fully human at this point. Which there were stories going around that she was like half human, half wolf at this point.
Yeah, some hybrid, something.
Her hands and arms were extremely muscular, but not out of proportion. And she lacked the ability to speak, only making deep growling sounds. She moved smoothly on all 4s, but rather awkwardly when she was made to stand straight up. She only really did this when she was running at full speed.
Okay.
The girl was put on a horse and taken to the nearest ranch, an isolated 2-room shack in the desert wilderness. She was put in one of the rooms unbound. Cowboys offering her to cover her body, and they were also offering food and water. She refused all, cowering in the darkest corner. Then they left her alone that night, locking the door and posting a guard outside. The only other opening in the room was a small boarded-up window. But as night fell, the cowboys heard terrifying howls coming from the girl's room. Strange cries through the still air at night, unsettling her captors and soon finding the answer among a wolf pack in the wilderness just beyond the shack. So the wolves came back to get her.
Yeah, they're coming to save her.
Soon, there was long, deep howls coming from all sides of the pack, drawing closer and closer to the house. And then occasionally, there'd be an extremely strange scream from the girl answering them from inside her dark room, almost signaling the pack and giving them information.
Coordinates.
Suddenly, a large pack of wolves charged in the corral, attacking the goats, cows, and horses, bringing the cowboys outside, shooting and yelling them away. In the confusion, the wolf girl managed to tear the planks off the window and escape into the night. The howl soon abruptly ended, and the wolf pack crept back into the darkness. The next day, there was no trace of the girl could ever be found.
So they were distracting them.
Yeah. So there's a lot of thoughts that she actually was talking to them and telling them what to do.
Yeah.
Or making a plan with them.
Yeah.
Get them outside so I can get out.
Communication.
There were also a few unverified reports from the following years of young hair-covered girls seen with a wolf pack in the area. No one ever came close to contacting her ever again. Meanwhile, gold has been discovered in California, and westward travel had increased significantly. And in 1852, a surveying party of frontiersmen searching the new route in El Paso were riding in the Rio Grande at the bend from the mouth of the Devil's River. And almost at the water's edge, when they saw at close range, sitting on a sandbar, a young girl sucking 2 wolf cubs. So she was feeding 2 babies.
Nursing them, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Suddenly, she saw them, grabbing the pups quickly and dashed into the brush at a breakneck speeds, impossible for the horsemen to follow. The girl would have been 17 years old that year. After she had disappeared in the wilderness forever, it was impossible to know whatever became of Molly Dent's daughter, presuming that who the wolf girl was. There was a subsequent reports of human-faced wolves reappearing in the area all the way up until the 1930s.
Oh, great.
And the author L.D. Burleton wrote in 1937, during the past 40 years, I and the Western contacts met more than one wolf face strongly marked with human characteristics.
So they're trying to say that she's making wolf hybrids.
Mm-hmm.
That's where all right.
Or that's one thought. The other thought is that maybe she was not actually Molly Dent's daughter.
Yeah.
And she was a werewolf.
Yeah.
And those are her offspring. So they just kept catching her in basically human form.
Yeah.
Because there were people that swore that when she was running, she was a wolf or a monster. And then when they caught her, when they get close to her, they would see that she was just a girl. Like even the guys that caught her, when they were first chasing her, they thought she had
monster and hair.
Animalistic characteristics.
Yeah.
And they were surprised. They were looking at her arms and legs and they couldn't understand.
Nothing was too crazy or out of...
Yeah. Like they said, she was muscular, but not disproportionate.
Yeah, but still proportionate, yeah.
Yeah. That's the first one.
Huh.
So you can either, if you guys at home, do the full story, do the short version, have fun with it, but it's still told in Texas.
The Dent daughter.
Mm-hmm.
The she-wolf.
She-wolf. There's a she-wolf in the closet.
And then there's the Megadeth she-wolf song.
Oh, I don't know the Megadeth one. The next one, the Deer Woman.
Ah, okay. Another hybrid.
Yeah.
I was going to say, too,
go ahead.
for the last one. Yeah. Made me think of something. There's that woman from Ukraine, and they found her. It's like a kid that her parents were like...
Very abusive.
But either abusive or they were like alcoholics, and they were neglectful.
That's...
I guess
neglect
abuse.
is abuse.
Yes, you're right. But yes.
I have to get certified in that every year.
Yeah, okay. So yes, and they left her out with basically dogs raised her.
She can talk now.
Yeah, I was gonna say she'd come around like she has limited speech and she's limited on some stuff, but she's come fully around to.
I think she can actually like talk now and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Like she's come fully like.
Yeah, because there was nothing wrong, but when they, like you said, when they found her, she was barking,
acting like a dog. She could run around on all fours like no problems. It's crazy stuff, but the human body is very, very adaptable.
Highly adaptable, especially kids.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're basically like, I don't know.
We're sponges until you're like 18.
So, yeah, something like that.
So you get thrown out with dogs or wolves. Yes, that's what you will be.
Exactly.
Like Mowgli. He was raised by wolves.
Yeah, the Jungle Book.
The Deer Woman. The Deer Woman is a modern scary campfire story based on a Native American mythology. The Deer Woman is said to be a shape-shifting creature, living deep in the woods, appearing either as a deer or as a woman. She lures unsuspecting lovers and promiscuous men into the woods. Then she stomps them to death with her hooves.
Oh, nice.
So she is, if you want more information, I can give you more information. But how this story is often told as, it depends on deer or woman. She has a hybrid form, very Skinwalker-esque. The tribes that are mostly dealing with are the Lakota, the Ojibwe, the Omaha, the Cherokee, the Seminole, the Choctaw, the Osage, the Pawnee are the big groups of tribes that have this legend of the Deer Woman.
A lot of the big hitters.
Yeah. But they tell this story to a lot of their young children, their version of the story, the deer woman is one of the little people, as they call it.
Oh, okay.
So, fae or whatever. But she will either appear as a beautiful, tempting woman and lure people deeper and deeper and deeper into the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And then transform specifically young men as her preferred target. And then she'll stomp them to death.
Nice.
Or she'll do the deer thing and literally lure people further in, like, what's this deer doing?
Right, yeah.
And she is, still very Skinwalker-esque vibes from this. She still has, this is a big Appalachian one where she's still told about. Masters of Horror had an episode about this, which was literally titled Deer Woman or Deer Lady.
I think Wise Kids did a skit about this too. It's called, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, so Lakota, the deer woman is called Antoinette. The daughter of the first man and first woman was a beautiful young woman named Lit, which translates roughly to face.
Oh, okay.
Lit Tate, which is face wind.
Face wind. Cool.
They married, so her daughter married a man. They had quadruplets, the Four Winds. Tate had wished to become a god and enlist the aid of the Inunnak, a trickster spider spirit who caused the sun to fall in love with the woman. At the celebration, they sat in the place of the moon, the sun's wife. To punish her disrespect, the sky cast her down from the heavens to the earth. Half of her face became ugly, and her name became Antoinette, double-faced woman, or Wina Nubi, double woman.
Okay.
Obviously, translations.
Right, yeah. It's rough.
And depending on where you are, it's either a black-tailed deer or a white-tailed deer.
Oh, okay.
It ranges. Whatever is the more common one we are. Two different sides symbolize inappropriate sexual relations. Men that have sex with her are believed to go insane, while women that dream of her will have strong powers in life.
Huh. That's really odd.
So she's all for women, not for men.
Yeah. That's just weird. I wonder how that all came about.
I'm very skimming.
Right, yeah.
But there's a lot of stories, especially right now, told in Appalachian campfires about the deer woman.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions?
Oh, no, this is a fascinating one. It's just like more or less that it's a story that spreads across a lot of area, I guess. That's what's fascinating.
We talk about that with a lot of Native American stuff that gets adapted to modern American culture.
Mm-hmm.
That both the deer woman and the Native Mexicans, we're seeing the wolf girl.
Right, yeah.
So, they have their own legends and stories, and then seeing actual creatures, which I believe. I don't know what the wolf girl was. I do think there is something to the story. You
think that something like that really happened?
I don't know if it's a dog man, a werewolf, or maybe a girl, like we've already said, girls, there are documentations of girls surviving with dogs.
Yeah.
And becoming one of them.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if it's something like that.
Yeah, no, it's hard. I mean, it's hard saying.
Yeah, it's also over 150 years ago.
I want to believe it really happened, though.
Yeah, sure.
In some way or another.
But stuff like skinwalkers and stuff, obviously, I believe in. So the deer woman, I think, kind of falls into that category.
Or under that umbrella.
Which I think it could, like, even the Lakota people talk, it was originally a woman that wanted too much power and then was punished and became the deer woman.
Oh, okay.
So I know that maybe it's hard to tell with my quick summarization of the Lakota legend mythology, because that's why she tricked the sun into falling into love with her, and the moon, which is the sun's wife in Lakota mythology, punished her and cursed her.
Oh, okay. So the sun being the actual sun.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like one of her.
S-U-N.
Yeah. Okay. I thought she like tricked one of her own sons.
Soul.
Gotcha. S-O-L.
Yeah. So. Next one.
Right? All right. Next.
Before we continue on, why don't we take an ad break?
All right, good. I need a break. I'm hungry.
Why don't you tell them about where they can take their kids fishing?
Oh, Future Anglers of Ohio or Future Anglers of Indian Lake. Great organization doing a lot of good work for raising I guess, money for the youth, but just getting a bunch of equipment and stuff for kids to go outside and go fishing this summer or anytime the water's available to go fishing. Take your kids outside and go fishing with them.
So, Jay, I just heard the Flavors of the Forest crew just did an expedition to the Lovelock Caves.
In Nevada?
Home of the red-haired giants.
Oh, did they discover a red-headed giant?
Nope. They discovered something even better.
A ginger of another sort?
A ginger of another sort. Now coming out very soon. Flavors of the Forest, Bigfoot breath with ginger.
A ginger flavor to add to my food?
Yes. It's coming very soon. Be on the lookout for these new flavors. Helped developed by maybe the Nephilim, maybe the Mountain Builders. All we know is they had red hair and they're gingers.
And it's delicious. And you can find this flavor and the other flavors on flavorsforest.com/corn.
So which one so far would you tell around the campfire?
I mean, probably not Leeds. Not the Leeds.
The Leeds Devil?
Yeah, the Leeds Devil. No, the Dent.
Wolf Girl.
The Dent Wolf Girl, yeah. And probably of the two, it'd be the one I'd tell.
Next one. The Hawaiian Night Marchers.
Menehune?
No, this is something completely different. So be sure to tell this one the next time you're beach camping. Ooh. The Hawaiian legend, the Night Marchers, are a deadly gang of ghosts of ancient warriors. They are said to rise up from the ocean and march through their ancient battle sites after sunset. Legend says that any mortal who looks directly at the Night Marchers will die a very violent death very soon.
Wow.
So this is still like told around the campfires. I've actually heard this like a long time ago. Somebody tell me one of these stories where the native Hawaiians will hear the drum. I can't remember if it's the war drums or they hear a sign of them.
Okay.
And they immediately, you just stare at the ground until they're past.
Huh.
And there's plenty of native Hawaiians that'll talk about that, when I was a kid, we heard the drums one time and grandma made us stare at the ground until that we didn't hear the drums anymore, or you could feel them walking.
Huh.
And so this is still, I've seen this shared. I've heard this story shared all the way in Ohio.
Right. It's pretty far from Hawaii.
I'm going to guess 4,000 miles, 5,000 miles.
Give or take. As the crow flies?
Yeah.
Okay.
As the Boeing flies or doesn't.
As the Boeing. Oh, the plane. Gotcha.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can tell you a little more about the Night Marchers, but this is one that is still shared where, the famous one I've heard before, like YouTube stories. A young man was walking to the beach with his grandma to go. I think they were trying to catch octopus or something in like the tide pools when they were this a long time ago.
Yeah.
And they could feel the drum beats, and his grandma just held him down to the ground and kept saying, "Don't look, don't look, don't look." And he could feel people walking behind him, like a large group, 100 people marching behind him, and feel the drum beats and everything like that. And they just walked into the jungle.
Huh.
And then when his grandma, then they were gone, she lifted him up and they ran back home.
Well, on their way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting. So what happens if you look at them?
You will die violently very soon.
Like they'll get you, or it's just... It's like Final Destination.
So the Night Marchers, also known as Spirit Ranks, the Oli Oli, are a deadly ghost of ancient tribal Hawaiian warriors. The Night Marchers are the vanguard of a sacred king, chief, or chiefess. On the nights honoring the Hawaiian god Ku in Lona, and other nights honoring Kanaloa, are said to come forth from their burial sites and raise up from the ocean and march in large groups to the ancient Hawaiian burial grounds or other sacred places. The legend says the marchers are normal-sized warriors dressed in battle, carrying spears, clubs, and some are beating the war drums or blowing in the conch shells to announce their advancement of their march. According to myth, they're suspended in the air, their feet do not touch the ground, or they do not traverse the ground through the night. They leave no evidence of their visitation. They march in the darkness after sunset, march in groups constantly until the sunrise. So when it's one of those nights, that's when they come out. Anybody living along their path, you may hear the chanting, the sounds of the conch shells, or the beating of the drums, or the feel of the marching. The following signs are extremely foul and musky, death-like odor.
Huh.
And seeing torches get brighter and brighter as the night marchers get closer and closer. The night marchers might appear during the day if they are escorting a dying relative to the spirit world. But that's not as scary.
Okay.
So there's actually a video of a night marcher.
Okay.
And it literally looks like, I don't even know how to describe it, like a demon dressed up as a Hawaiian warrior, like a shadow person wearing a Hawaiian warrior outfit.
I was thinking of someone like from Pirates of the Caribbean, from Davy Jones' ship.
Yeah, it wasn't like a skeleton or anything like that.
Well, you know what? Yeah, they're all like sea kind of creatures.
Yeah. Oh, nothing like that. No, they're humans.
Yeah, like humanoid.
These, I'm talking the night marchers.
Are humans.
Are just people. There's no sea starfish growing out of their head or nothing
right,
like that.
Yeah, that's what I imagine. Like they're decomposed zombie like demons dressed up in the garb.
So ancient Hawaiian belief states that mortal looking upon are being seen by the defense or is seen as defiance towards the marchers and will die violently. As in they're not respecting the rites and the traditions.
Gotcha.
Barriers are placed in the path of the night marchers, will not deter them. So some people literally that have been bothered will build fences in their way and stuff like that. Doesn't bother them.
No, I mean,
some people maintain that if a mortal lies most recently face down on the ground, they are showing the proper respect, fear, and basically the night marchers will spare them.
Right, yeah.
So that's like the one story from the grandma and the kid.
Just shoving it.
That's what she was holding him to the ground.
Yeah.
And as they passed.
Huh, that would be scary.
Additionally, mortals can avoid harm or death from the night marchers by being fortunate that the ancient ancestor marcher is present and recognizes them. So you can be spared if your relative is among the company.
Dude, wait.
That's Jim.
Yeah.
As they encounter the mortal, they will call out Nuna, which means mine in Hawaiian.
Yeah.
So none of the warriors in the possession will harm them.
Okay. Now, this should be I want to know if we have any, or, some of our Hawaiian listeners, if they've ever.
Yeah. We have a couple. I see them in the demographic, in where they listen.
I wonder if any of them have, or know anybody that have experienced this.
Once again, sorry about the pronunciations.
Yeah, we're doing our best.
There's a lot of accents over these words.
Right. No, I'm very curious, though. If
Nanu,
you have.
I think it's Nanu. Mine, Nanu.
Please message us or let us know if you've, I guess, experienced this or know anyone that has.
The Lilo and Stitch TV show taught me all of the Hawaiian I know, which is a little bit.
That's probably the same for me. And maybe the guy from Rocket Power, his dad's friend, Tito, I think's his name. I learned some stuff from him.
So legend also says planting living tea, which is a Calorian species of shrub, around one's home will keep away all evil spirits and will cause the night marchers to avoid the area. Night marchers are said to walk through houses with doors and back doors in a straight line. So if your front door and back door are placed in a straight line, they'll march right through your house.
Okay.
So there's a lot of Hawaiian houses that are offset because of that reason.
So they don't.
So they can't walk. They will only walk through if it's a straight line.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
There's a lot more to this, obviously. But I just thought that was a very fascinating one that's still shared on beaches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Apparently, I know it's one that's told like a tourist a lot and stuff like that.
Right. It's the Pigeon Forge of campfire stories.
Sure. Pigeon Forge.
If you know, you know.
Why do we have 18 pancake houses in 3 miles of road?
Why?
That's Pigeon Forge.
Yeah, I know. But why? What is the answer to that?
There's no answer.
Yeah,
exactly. Because one was successful and the next guy was like, I could do that.
Right, yeah.
And then that happened 18 times.
Mm-hmm. And they're
17 times.
Right, 17 more times. And they're all successful.
Yes.
It still works.
Next one is the red spot.
Ooh.
Based on an urban legend, the scary campfire story appears in the infamous Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Now, does this red spot have anything to do with space or sky?
No. It's a tale told to make your skin crawl. The red spot is about a young girl who wakes up to find a spider bite on her cheek.
That kind of red spot.
And basically, this is told around campfires that there was actually there's a bunch of versions of this story. I don't have the scary stories to tell in the dark version,
Okay.
but there's basically spiders hatching out of her face and that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. Like the frogs that lay eggs in the other frog's back.
Those Peepa Peepa.
Yeah.
You've seen those. I had those.
And they hatch out.
They're the same species of frog, though.
Oh, yeah. I know. But I'm saying, like it's coming out of their skin. Like frogs are emerging out of their backs.
Yeah, but they want them to.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
It's different.
Sure.
I mean, it's different when it's like a chest burster that you did not want it to happen versus a proud mother.
You're talking about Alien?
Mm-hmm.
Or at the end of Spaceballs. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
At the end where that thing jumps out of his stomach?
Mm-hmm. Wearing the hat.
Yeah.
All right, so next one. The Axe Murder Hollow.
Ooh, okay.
Now, you ever heard any of the axe murder stories?
I only know the movie, So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Oh, no, so we had, so there's a famous axe murderer from Indian Lake
Okay.
or Logan County, Ohio.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Recently or
No.
what?
1900s sometime.
Okay.
Like 40s or 50s.
So
So not like that far ago, like
Right.
not that long ago.
Our grandparents could have known.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Grandpa knew the guy. That's a lie.
Yeah, I was going to say. I knew
He was born in the 40s.
Yeah.
No, so chopped his wife up.
It's horrible.
And then there was another one in Kenton, Ohio
Oh, wonderful.
that killed a bunch of people with an axe.
Jeez. That's right down the road from us.
Yeah.
Huh. Nope. Didn't know that.
He did.
Nope. That's the kind of local history my parents neglected.
No, so this is
Tell me about.
when we would camp at Indian Lake, we would hear every once in a while
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
a version of the Axe Murderer's Hollow.
Or of course, yeah.
Because there was an actual axe murderer, a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody alive was involved, kind of
Right.
deal. Or that they were very old
Well, I mean,
at that time.
anyone that was involved is probably dead because
The axe murderer.
right. He that's kind of what he does.
Well, he could still be alive.
Right. He could still be telling the tales. He's out in Indian Lake telling the stories.
It was him.
Yeah.
And that night, I was killed. That's always the twist. He's been a ghost the whole time.
Right. They all turn to look at him and he's gone.
Gone.
That's him disappearing.
Axe Murderer Hollow. If the title isn't terrifying on its own, the quick and scary campfire story following a couple who got stuck in the mud during a rainy drive. They find themselves in, you guessed it, a place named Axe Murder Hollow.
Wow.
So this is a famous one. It's told all kinds of stuff.
Maybe if they just changed the name of the place, people wouldn't be axe murderers there.
So I'll read the story for you guys right now.
All right.
This is from Spooky, Pennsylvania. Has a version written out. Pretty nice.
Okay.
So Susie and Ned were driving through a wooded, empty section of highway. Lightning flashed, thunder rolled, and the sky went dark in a torrential downpour. "We'd better stop," said Susan. Ned nodded in his head in agreement. He stepped on the brakes, and suddenly the car started to slide from the pavement. They plunged off the road and slid to the halting bottom of the incline. Pale and shaken, Ned quickly turned to Susan to make sure she was all right. When she nodded, Ned relaxed and looked through the rain-soaked windows. "I'm gonna go see how bad it is," he told Susan. When he went out in the storm, she saw his blurry figure in the headlights, walking around the front of the car. And a moment later, he jumped back in beside her, completely soaking wet. "The car's not badly damaged, but we're wheel deep in the mud," he said. "I'm going to have to go for help." Susie swallowed nervously. There would be no quick rescue here. He told her to turn off the headlights and lock the doors until he returned. Axe Murder Hollow. Although Ned hadn't seen the name or hadn't said the name out loud, they both knew what they'd been thinking the whole time when he told her to lock the car.
Mm-hmm.
This was the place where a man had once taken an axe and hacked his wife to death in a jealous rage over an affair. Supposedly, the axe-wielding spirit of the husband continues to haunt this section of road. Outside the car, Susan's heard a shriek, then a loud thump, and a strange gurgling noise.
Uh-oh.
But she couldn't see anything in the soaking darkness. Frightened, she shrieked down into the seat. She sat in silence for a while, and then she noticed around her another sound. Bump, bump, bump. It was a soft sound, like something being blown by the wind. Suddenly, the car was illuminated by a bright light. An officer-sounding voice told her to get out of the car. Ned must have found a police officer. Susan unlocked the door and stepped out of the car. As her eyes adjusted to the extremely bright light, she saw it. Hanging by his feet from a tree to the car was a dead body of Ned. His bloody throat had been cut so deeply that he was nearly decapitated.
Oh, geez, graphic.
The wind swung his corpse back and forth so that it thumped against a tree. Bump.
Oh, that was the thump
Bump.
she was hearing.
Bump.
Oh, no.
Susie screamed and ran towards the voice and the light. As she drew closer, she realized the light was not coming from the flashlight. Standing there was the glowing figure of a man with a smile on his face and a large, solid, indefinite real axe in his hands. She backed away from the glowing figure until she bumped into the car. Playing around when my back was turned, the ghost whispered, stroking the sharp blade of the axe with his fingers. You've been very naughty. That was the last thing she saw, was the glint of the axe blade in the eerie, iridescent light.
Ooh. So he got her?
Yeah.
Oh, well, who told the story?
Shh. The campfire story.
Oh, okay.
I'll put a graphic warning in there, and you can actually play that one.
Dash cam. They had the dash cam.
They had the dash cam.
Yeah.
So, 45 minutes if you guys want to play one. There you go. I'll make sure I put that in the description.
If you want what?
To play a whole one. I got a campfire.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
That's why I read it.
Yeah.
So you could actually play one. What do you think?
That would be a not good situation, I would imagine.
I believe this is the one that got my grandpa in trouble.
Why is that?
Because he told us when we were way too young, and there was an actual axe murder that happened like 2 miles away from where we were.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, probably not.
So I don't think we slept for a long time.
Probably not the best story to be telling kids, young children, especially out,
In a tent.
In a tent, yeah. That one can be pretty scary.
We weren't in the middle of the woods or nothing because it was just Indian Lake. But when you're a kid, that piece of fabric isn't stopping anything.
Oh, no.
Especially
an axe.
The axe man.
Yeah. An axe hollow or an axe murderer hollow.
Mass murder hollow.
Axe murderer.
Oh, axe murder hollow. Mass murder hollow. What happened here?
Oh, that's a funny name.
Next one, The Smiling Man. This has been a short film. It tells a story of a young man who goes on a simple evening walk. He runs into a man in a suit who's just staring in the sky, smiling. The good news is that the scary campfire story doesn't involve a violent death. The bad news is there's much, much more that it revolves around. I have not seen The Smiling Man short film, but it got turned into a full featured film as well.
I think it was called, I remember when that came out.
Smile? I think it's just called Smile.
Maybe. It was relatively recently, right?
Yeah.
Because it came out, I remember.
The short film came out a while ago.
Right, but the full film.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to look it up while you're going on.
Yeah, so then that's all I have for that one.
Okay.
The next one. You ready for this?
Oh, Smiling Man came out in 2015. If that's the same one.
That's probably the short film.
Maybe, yeah.
All right, ready?
Yep.
The Rustling Corn.
Ooh.
The scary campfire story is another one that comes from a poem. Sinister indeed, The Rustling Corn tells a tale of a shortcut home turning into the stuff of nightmares. What's hiding in the cornfield is said to lift up the listener's imagination. So I'll read you this one as well.
Okay.
So you guys can play this one. Now, this one's very short, but I had to add it because it's corn.
Right, I have to.
A shortcut through the cornfield tempts you as you're walking home. The clouds above keep the moon concealed as you enter the swaying corn alone.
Mm.
The corn grows tall and thick, my friend. The path you've chosen is muddy. It grows in rows without scope or end, and in the dark you hurry. You don't see the standing forms as you pass them on your way. They stand still amongst the swaying corn, which hides their patrol and their decay. Hundreds gather in the field tonight. Through you see none at all. Yet still you look around in fright, but the corn grows thick and tall.
Ooh.
You tell yourself as you continue through, it's merely the rustling of the leaves. But then you see, and then you hear, and then you might not leave.
What? You see something really awesome and cool?
Yeah.
Or the exact opposite?
Yeah, there's actually so there's a show that if you have kids, don't watch it. If you're an adult, watch it. It's called Love, Death, and Robots.
Okay.
There's 4 seasons of it, I think, now. Every episode, they're not connected. And
Okay.
they're all different art styles and all different stories and all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
There's one about this poem.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, where I won't ruin it because it's a really good one. But basically, it's old-timey, traveling by train. Train overheats in the middle of like a massive grassland or a cornfield.
Okay.
So the conductor tells him, hey, don't wander off the train because when it cools down, we're going to keep going. It's only got one passenger that night because it's a cargo train.
Okay.
And the guy's like, I just want to have a smoke out here, in the cool air. And he's just like, don't leave the train.
Right, yeah.
And then
I warned you.
he sees a blue light out in the field and starts following it. And then bad things happen.
Yeah, don't follow lights. Don't follow lights.
Don't follow lights.
But, I mean, is that the end of the poem?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, spending my childhood running around through the corn and stuff, I mean, it can be very, very eerie and scary, especially if you get the thought in your head something's in there with you.
No, we had stuff in there with us.
Oh, yeah.
When we were running through it.
Oh, yeah.
Luke and Michael still swear they seen a Black Panther the one time.
Which I believe it.
Because we were playing hide and seek because they were chasing it.
Yeah.
Because they thought it was a kid.
Yeah.
And it was not.
Well,
We found, there was a cow in there one time we didn't know about.
Yeah. That would be a scary one.
Because our neighbor's cow, you know them. They're our old neighbors.
Yeah.
Our cows got out constantly. That's the bull that almost murdered me.
Oh, okay.
And then it was a puppy dog for him.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Because I didn't know he was in our barn.
Right, exactly. It'd be scary.
We only had cows.
And anything, when you're in the corn, like walking through it, running through it, playing, whatever, and the wind blows, you hear all of it rustling together. You
It
cannot
sounds like running.
Yeah, you can't differentiate that sound between somebody else just running through through the corn. It sounds the same.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it can be very eerie, very creepy, very, very fast.
All right. And I got another one for you.
All right.
This one's called the Open Wi-Fi Connection, a very modern one.
Yeah, it sounds apparently.
So this is a Reddit-born story that puts a modern twist on classic scary campfire stories.
Oh, okay.
It's known as the Open Wi-Fi Connection. It tells a story of a group of friends camping in the woods who unsurprisingly connect to an open Wi-Fi network. Sounds innocent at first, but it takes a creepy turn. I'm going to read the story again. You might be less inclined to connect to a Wi-Fi at a campground.
Okay, I'm already, yes.
Are you ready?
Reinforce it even more, yes. I would not.
They didn't believe me when I told them there was an open wireless network in range, and it was named free Wi-Fi. It was rather slow, but that's not the problem. You see, we were camping out in the middle of nowhere. Tar Hollow Forest. For any fellow Ohioans out there.
Where is that?
We've been to Tar Hollow.
We have?
Yes. We packed the truck about a mile down the trail, and from what there was about 15-minute drive to only a ramp on the highway. We were far removed from civilization, to say the least. After we were all done and checking on the Facebook and replying to Snapchat, my friends and I made a game of finding a source of a signal. Marco and Sean went to one direction, Mike and I went the other. 3 minutes later, we were all back to the site. The signal dropped off 185 paces in the direction I went, and roughly 250 paces in the opposite. We agreed with Sean's proposal to go the third direction, so to approximate by the triangulation of the whereabouts of the source. Marco continued the steps. Mike kept an eye out for the signal indicator. Sean and I were looking out for anything remotely resembling a Wi-Fi router. About 100 feet in, Mike told Marco to stop counting. The signal was at full strength. It looked around for a flashing LED or a running cable or anything that lit up.
Mm-hmm.
Marco suggested it could be a pocket in a rock, like a hot spot from another camper that had been left behind. Though that was unlikely, since there was still no 3G service coverage out here.
Right.
But we found nothing. We gave up the search and made the way back towards the campsite. That's when the Wi-Fi signal completely disappeared. The sun was setting and was starting to fog up. A little spooked, we agreed we should pack up our stuff and hike back to the truck. But when we got back, we realized that we had been robbed. Our bags were torn open, our food supplies were missing, and our tents were completely toppled.
Raccoons.
We immediately seemed odd was that the thieves hadn't taken our laptops or cameras. Upon closer inspection, all they had taken was food and beverages. In my opinion, that was the scariest part. Needless to say, we crammed whatever we could into the torn up bags and made a dash for the truck. It wasn't until we got to the truck that Mike told us to check our phones. The Wi-Fi signal was at full strength. A chill ran down my spine, and we saw the name of the connection had changed to Run, Boys, Run.
Oh, wow. Oh, was that the end of it?
Yeah.
So someone's playing an elaborate prank on them, or?
So, interesting thing about Tar Hollow is, me and you've been there,
Where is it?
by Conkle's Hollow down in Hocking.
Oh, okay, cool.
It is an extremely famous Bigfoot hotspot.
Okay. Is that just what?
A lot of B. Mills' stuff has come from the Tar Hollow area.
Oh, okay, really? Huh. So is this just a, I guess, what's the connection you're making
So
here?
I thought before I got into the details of it, this is just a creepypasta,
Yeah.
Reddit story, campfire story. But the area and the behaviors, if this is a made up story, it just is odd to me. So we talked about the forestation they built down there, the
Yeah.
range, around right where all the Bigfoot sightings were, like
Yep.
right where
On 'em.
they were,
Yeah.
and all this stuff. So I kind of wonder if maybe that they were being watched from underground, and they literally hooked up to an accidental Wi-Fi network under there, or they were lured away from their campsite for the Bigfoots or to see what the Bigfoots would do,
Yeah.
and then whoever was down there was screwing with them,
Could be.
like was literally under him the whole time.
Screwing with them. Watching them.
Because if anybody know, Hocking Hills is hollow from the old coal mines.
Right. We hollowed it out.
So it
Those
already has.
Those aren't mountains. Those are just
Those are ditches.
ditches carved out by us.
The hills that are left are the part of the ditches.
Yes.
So I'll do one more for you. How's that sound?
Okay.
This is probably the most famous one.
All right.
The Big Toe.
Ooh. The undertow?
Sometimes known in American lore as the hairy toe or the skinny toe. This is a scary campfire story that appears as the Big Toe. This is another one that appears in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. A little boy basically finds a toe in the ground, brings it to his mother. She decides, and a nice addition to the soup that they were having for dinner. The only thing was disturbing as a story is the jumps. Let's talk about it. My grandma told us this one, except it was a bone.
Ooh.
We'll talk about it after. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. A boy was digging at the edge of the garden when he saw a big toe. He tried to pick it up, but it was stuck to something. So he gave it a good hard jerk, and it came off in his hand. Then he heard something groan and scrape away. The boy took the toe into the kitchen and showed it to his mother. It looked nice and plump, she said. I'll put it in the soup for dinner. We'll have it for supper.
What?
That night, his father carved the toe into 3 pieces, and they each had a piece. As they were doing the dishes, it's when it got dark and they went to bed. The boy fell asleep almost at once, but in the middle of the night, a sound had awakened him. It was something out in the street. It was a voice, and it was calling him. Where is my toe? It groaned. And the boy heard that. He got very scared. When he thought, he doesn't know where I am, and it will never find me. Then he heard the voice once again, only now it was closer. Where is my toe? The boy pulled the blankets over his head and closed his eyes. I'll go to sleep, he thought, and when I wake up, it'll be gone. But as soon as he heard the back door open, and again the voice, where is my toe? It groaned louder, and the boy heard footsteps moving through the kitchen, into the dining room, into the living room, and into the front hall.
Uh-oh.
It slowly climbed the stairs. It came closer and closer. Soon, it was in the upstairs hall. Now, it was outside his door, banging. Where is my toe? The door opened. Shaking in fear, he listened to the footsteps slowly move through the dark towards his bed. Then it stopped, hovering over him. Where is my toe? It said in a grown, hushed voice. You've got it! And the boy was never seen again.
Ooh. Where'd he go?
I think he became that thing's toe.
Oh, he turned into a toe.
I think he ripped off a troll's toe.
Did he tow him away?
Yeah, but no, shh. Now, so I read 4 of them for you guys, so you can actually play those, and I'll put the timestamps below in the episode.
You can jump ahead, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just playing at campfires and stuff like that.
There you go.
No, so I mean, what does this mean? So American folklore, right?
Wait, he found a zombie in his garden and pulled his toe off?
I always took it as a troll.
Hmm.
That was like during the day, they bury underground or they turn to stone or whatever. So maybe they don't actually turn to stone; they just stop moving.
Yeah.
And then he ripped its toe off while he was
Yeah.
sleeping. It never said it was a human toe. And I don't imagine it looked like a human toe. Otherwise, why would the parents eat it?
Right, yeah. It's weird.
So the version I heard as a kid was the bone. Basically, same thing. Kid dug up a bone, brought it to his mom. Mom or grandma used it as a soup bone.
Yeah.
And where is my bone?
Yeah.
But the ending was a little different, to where it would rattle the house and come in the night and yell, and the mom or the grandma finally got tired of it and said, "Here it is," and threw it out the window, and the voices stopped.
Huh. Possessed bone. Possessed toe.
You just stole it.
I guess so. It was
You
in
ripped
his
my-
garden.
If you ripped off my toe while I was sleeping,
Well, what are you doing in my garden?
I was here first. I'm a troll. I was here 1,000 years ago.
I don't know if I believe that. See, I'd argue with him.
The troll?
Yeah.
You'd argue with him after you ripped his toe off?
Right, exactly. Shouldn't have been there.
No, so there's a lot. So American folklore, wild or feral children is a big part of it. So going all the way back to the wolf girl of Devil's River.
Mhm.
Feral children and feral people, which we will do specials on. Because there's a lot. I think a lot of Bigfoot sightings are actually feral people.
Yeah, could be.
The Great Depression, it hit a lot of people.
Hard.
And like we even talked about in the wolf girl part of this, people are adaptable.
Very.
And if you can't be a civilized, I'm not civilized isn't the right word. If you can't be a classical modern human, existence isn't feasible anymore.
Living within civilization.
Yes, you will survive.
Yeah.
Humans have proven that. I mean, one of the few species that's on every continent.
Well, we survived the Ice Age. Or,
Yeah. We ate all those things.
Yeah, exactly.
They were scary for a bit, and then fire.
And then not so scary.
And then we burnt the giant ground sloths alive.
Mhm.
And then the rest of the animals are like, oh, that's not good.
We burnt the giant ground sloths alive. We burnt the giant red-headed giants alive.
That happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you think of the wolf girl?
Oh,
Go all the way back through them.
Right. That's a fun one. I mean, could have origins somewhere in truth.
Yeah, I think there's something. I don't know how much is there as
Right.
in the actual, because once again, 1820s or 1830s, something like that. Long time ago.
Yeah.
There is an extremely, and I left this out, there is an extremely similar story from about the same year called the Delphos, which is almost about Delphos wolf girl in Kansas. So this could be, I don't know if it was yellow journalism popped up in a newspaper, or
Yeah.
it was just happened to be this American folklore.
Another separate account.
Or human folklore. Because humans and wolves have, from domestication, have a
Right.
long history.
Bonding.
Because wolf it's one of those animals that embodies I guess, the ferociousness and the power of nature.
Okay.
Like, so it's one that's always present, like human psyche.
Right.
When you're thinking of, and that's kind of what the wild man trope is too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's us, but the wild version.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know if that's Bigfoot or not like that, but I think it's classic American folklore.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm following that with you.
Deer woman.
The deer woman. This is just a good story.
I love. There's 100 versions of it. All these have 100 versions.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's real in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's I get everything from not deer vibes to skinwalker.
Something supernatural.
Yeah. But I mean, all that is there. And then there's tons. Like I said, I skimmed on the Native American legends because it dives super deep.
Right. Yeah.
The Lakota have a really deep history. Amazing. I mean, I love all of the Native American tribes. Just what you can find history-wise left. You know, some tribes there's a lot more than others, and the Lakota have a lot of their mythology still preserved.
Right. Yeah.
Which is it's fascinating. So, real or not real? You going to tell the Lakotas that they're liars?
Oh, is that where I'm falling on these? Real or not real?
No.
Oh, okay.
But that was.
I just like the story. I mean, I'm sure there's some part of whatever you want to consider realness to it, but there was a reason for the story. I'm sure a good origin story.
Yeah. I think you may even hit on it when we were actually going over it an hour ago, talking about not following lights. Because I think a lot of American folklore has those hidden, the scary stories especially, have hidden truths in them or hidden things. So don't trust a beautiful woman luring you into the woods.
It's never good.
Think about it, right? Why would this young, attractive woman be out here beckoning me deeper into a dark forest?
Because you're the chosen one.
I mean, think about it. Or why is this deer doing all this weird stuff? Does it have hands?
It wants you.
Yeah. Gosh.
You're worthy.
The Hawaiian night marchers.
That one's cool.
Now, like I said, I've heard a lot of people, especially YouTube interviews. This is when you can find a lot of people coming forward. The guy with his grandma is probably the most famous one. You can find YouTube videos of and that kind of stuff. But there are people that still hear them. There's a lot of tourist videos saying that they hear the drumming, whether that's at like a tourist luau, 2 miles away.
Right.
But the Hawaiian culture, and I mean, I don't know what these are, but I do think these are real in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I think people still see them.
I would like to know if any of our listeners have ever seen or heard them or know the story at all.
Has your grandma ever seen them? Like, I know there's a few listeners in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So, do you know a relative that's ever seen them and stuff like that?
I want to know.
Let me move on to the next one. Oh, Axe Murder Hollow.
Yeah, that one's fun.
Well, that's a classic.
You need a good axe murder story for the campfire.
And there's a lot of axe murders in North America.
After the little ones go to bed, and in our area.
And in our area. We had 2 axe murders within 12 miles of here.
Yeah, that fun. That we know about.
So
I'm sure there's more.
Yeah.
I guess it's just this area.
It's the Americas.
Oh, okay.
Especially the 18 and 1900s.
Yeah.
I mean, we even talked on Patreon a couple of the famous axe murders.
The axe murder epidemic.
Yeah. Oh, it just happened. I mean, before, I think, it's not like a weapon issue. It's a human spirit issue.
It's an archetypal issue.
Yeah. So.
Well, ask Ron about it.
Axes were in every house. Axes and hatchets. When you were chopping fire, whatever. It's a heavy, sharp thing that everybody had.
Yeah.
Much less common now. Because even now we buy split firewood and stuff like that. I have a little axe just to break off kindling.
Yeah.
But I haven't had an axe since we lived in the woods.
Right, yeah.
Like an actual felling axe or anything like that. But this is one that I've heard. This is one I know a lot of our listeners have heard. It's definitely one you got to tell.
Right, yeah.
The Smiling Man. This is, like I said, a really modern one.
Yeah, this one, yeah. I mean, it's a typical Smiling Man story.
It also reminds you of like Indrid Cold and some of those things seen in that day.
Absolutely. And I wish, I think that movie was just called Smile, maybe. I couldn't find
the modern one is called Smile.
Yes.
The short film is called The Smiling Man.
Right. And that's the one I was talking about was the modern one. I never did see it, but I remember seeing the advertisements.
We had a friend. It said it was pretty good. Yeah. You like horror movies. I don't care for horror movies.
Same here. I mean, I take it or leave it for me.
I mean, if we wanted to, if you want, like, hey, let's go see, right.
I'd
be like, all right, I'll go with you.
Right.
I'm never going to be like, I want to go see that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, if friends are going out, I'll go.
Right. It's not going to pull me, though, personally out of my seat to go to a theater.
Monster movies, though.
Oh, there you go. That's your wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm. The Rustling Corn, the poem.
That one just hits home.
Yeah, I mean, if you live in we are the Corn Belt.
Yeah.
But if you live in the Corn Belt.
We are the cryptids of the corn.
We are the cryptids of the corn.
Pretty good.
We live in the Corn Belt. You've all experienced this.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, maybe that'll be the new intro, is just that poem.
Oh, there you go.
The open Wi-Fi connection is a weird one.
That is a weird, I like the modern twist.
It's very famous too.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's real or if it's just a modified old story, but this is interesting to see. Let's say it is fake, right?
Yeah.
Which very good possibility. It's 100% just an internet creepypasta.
Mm-hmm.
That it's the adaptation of some of the old stories.
Right, exactly.
And to modern times.
Tale as old as time.
Which folklore is a fundamental part of the human psyche.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on folklore?
I just think it's the best way for us to pass down knowledge. Because in story form, it's harder to forget, and you can tell a lot more in the form of a story than you can just saying, like, well, you can't do this because of that. Or,
yeah.
It's just
that, and kids are more likely to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about that 100 times. Like, if you tell a kid don't go to the river because there's an alligator,
right,
they're going to go, I did it.
Yep.
I was hitting an alligator with a butterfly net.
Yep.
Ask my dad. You guys come to the jamboree, ask him. He looked over it, and I was going to get murdered by this alligator.
Good thing he saw you in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a bad kid. I broke into an elephant enclosure.
Yeah.
You can look that up.
Well, we'll just ignore that article.
Why?
I don't know, because
my mom and dad always got a lot of poop for me being on a leash.
Yeah.
I broke into an elephant enclosure where I was feet away from a baby elephant.
Right, yeah, which could have been
dead.
Yeah,
stomped to death.
Exactly.
So they're like, you know what? No, he needs to be on a leash.
Yeah.
Because I have a son that's the same way.
Yeah, you're the reason why they have the leash babies now.
Atlas is going to be a leash kid.
Yeah, well.
Because he ran like a mile a couple days ago when we took him out to the field and just kept running. Never turned and looked where we were.
Just kept going.
Just kept going. Never thought. The big toe.
Oh, the big toe. I wouldn't eat it.
That's one. Like I said, my grandma told us the bone version of that.
Yeah, it makes a little more sense.
And it was like the only scary story she would ever tell us. And it'd be my grandma Sharon, the one that lived here.
Yeah.
The handicapped one. It's the only, and it was the only scary story. And I think it's because her mom would tell it a lot.
Oh, okay. And it's scary, but it's not like.
It's not super scary or nothing like that.
It's not nightmare fuel or nothing.
And in her, like I said, her version, they just threw the bone out the window.
Mm-hmm. So she even PG'd it for you.
Yeah. And I don't know if she did that or if that's just the version that she got.
Gotcha.
I could be either way.
Yeah.
But I love campfire stories. I think it's a way to see into the American psyche. And like we've already said, to share some important lessons, like the big toe. And
it's a good way for camaraderie that doesn't involve a phone or a TV or something like that.
Even though if you want me reading the stories for you guys at the campfire, you're going to play it on your phone.
Well, I mean, but you know what I mean.
But yeah,
the idea of telling the stories.
I'll put the timestamps below for all of the stories that I fully read. But the other ones I highly suggest you go and read or, download a little PDF of them so you can read them at a campfire.
Yeah.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. We had that book as kids.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
One of them. I mean, there's...
Is that Shiel Silverstein? Is that him or no? Or is that someone else? No, he does The Giving Tree.
Schwartz.
There was like 3 versions of that.
Arnold Schwartz? No.
I want to read his version.
Arnold? And I can't even do an Arnold.
Yeah, I was going to try, yeah. And I was like, no, get to the chopper. That's as best I can do.
I'm trying to find his name now. Alvin.
That's how.
Schwartz. Alvin Schwartz.
I imagine that's how all of his scary stories end, though. Run! No!
To the chopper.
Yeah.
Back to California.
All
right.
And the gummy bear of Candy Cornia. Huh?
So, yeah. That's campfire stories.
Yeah, it was fun.
I had... Basically, it's been a long weekend, so I wanted to do a nice, easy episode. And I want to do this for a while. I think campfire stories are fun. If you guys want more of these, let me know if you would prefer me just reading them.
Yeah.
Or you want the history behind them. I couldn't find the history behind all of them, obviously.
Well, they're tales at the end of the day.
They are, but some of them have, like, actual things that happened, like the wolf girl.
Right, yeah.
And stuff like that. You can find actual reports, like that family that actually died.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you can actually find it where he was struck by lightning, but you can find that they had a kid and they died.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There's something to it.
Anything else to add?
No, this was a fun one.
All right. I've been the great and powerful Mystery.
And I've been J Clone 410.
And we'll catch you next week, guys.
Bye.
Hey, guys. Thank you for listening to Cryptids the Corn podcast. Remember, the best way to support the show is share it with a friend. But if you are craving more of the J Clones
and more from Mr. E,
there's always extra content on Patreon
and our paid member space on cryptidsofthecorn.com.
We'll catch you next time with more exciting, fun, and informative information. Bye.